Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro, Pinche, the podcast we discuss all things USMNT, La Selección Mexicana, and Liga MX. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again, my co-host Tocayo Adrian, celebrating the balloons. Adrian, how you doing after that 2-1 MÉXICO Gold Cup win against USA, bro?
That was completely not planned, but I guess it makes sense now that Mexico has become the champion of Gold Cup for second time in a row.
Back to
right?
back, yeah.
It's been a while since they've been the back-to-back champions. We were discussing that on our previous episode, but yeah, it's nice to see. I've never thought I was going to say this, but it's nice to see El Vascoaguirre ending a good run with a championship.
Yeah, we mentioned how Mexico was improving as the season went, as the tournament went on, and they finally ended that streak of not being able to beat the USMNT since 2019, I believe, 6 games or 6 years of unbeaten. And we count, non-friendlies, right? Actual
Yes,
FIFA
sir.
matches. So how it usually does, the pendulum has swung, and it's currently in Mexico's favor. Mexico, like we said, winning 2-1. This Gold Cup final played in NRG here Sunday, July 6th. Let me go over some of these stats here, Adrian, just because the stats were overwhelmingly positive towards Mexico. We gave in our preview episode how you were more thinking this was going to be the result. You thought it was going to be a close match, which it ultimately was 2-1. I thought it was going to be Mexico dominance 3-0 or something like that, something along those lines. I think we were both technically right. It was a close match, but it wasn't close by any means stat wise.
Yeah.
Shots, Mexico 16 to 6 for the USA. Shots on target 8 for Mexico, 3 for USA. Possession 60% for Mexico, 40% for USA. 518 passes for Mexico, 351 for USA. 2 yellows for Mexico, 1 for USA, and 12 corners from Mexico, Adrian, 0
to the USMNT.
The U.S. men's national team, yeah. A complete dominant Mexico in the midfield and really in all parts of the field, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I think that the early goal for the USMNT, I thought was going to set the tone for a more fast-paced kind of back and forth match, but Mexico pretty much settled throughout the entire game. I don't know what happened to the USMNT, but after that goal, they were pretty much non-existent, dude. It was painful to see how Aguiman struggles to retain the ball, how we continue to have doubts on the team Ream Chris-Richards partnership on the center back line. And yeah, I think no questions here. Mexico was definitely the best team on the match.
Yeah, and something that I noted was in previous iterations of this Gold Cup or Nations League, when Mexico would go down, usually it would be a collapse. They would be playing erratically, not as well. Here they were able to remain calm, turn this around, ended up winning, scoring 2 goals. Raúl Jiménez scores, and Edson Álvarez gets a goal back from VAR right after VAR revision. And I think that just goes to show the maturity of this team and how, like we mentioned countless times, they've been improving under Vascoaguirre here. But dude, I think if we look at the USMNT, there wasn't any real chances. The players that we said needed to stick out and play well: Tyler Adams, Diego Luna, Malik Tillman, right? Tyler Adams, other than that yellow card, I didn't see much from him at all. He disappeared. Diego Luna had a horrible match. He wasn't creating anything at all. Malik Tillman had occasions of, trying to distribute and trying to play the ball, but also was very well covered up there and unable to really realize any situations for goal or for any dangerous situations really for the USMNT. And not even to talk about the number 9 problem that the USMNT is currently facing. Aguiman is not it. He's shown it all the tournament, and man, what a horrible game he had. No hold to play, and really any chances, he would lose the ball right away, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was watching it on VIX, and they had I think Bocanegra was part of the commentators, and he was pissed. Man, he was not happy with Aguiman in any way whatsoever. He was criticizing him a lot, complaining how he couldn't retain the ball, that he was not the number 9 for the USMNT. He was getting very desperate as to what was that. He couldn't understand the strategy behind having someone like him when you know that he's not a go-to striker, right? He's probably a poacher or a finisher, but he's not one of those where he's gonna grab the ball, turn around, and muscle the defenders. But yeah, it's difficult pill to swallow for the USMNT. And even if you look at the bench, I think you don't have an answer. There's nothing that you can do to adapt to change the squad on the go, because your next available player is Brian White, which I think still a better option than Aguiman. Still surprised why he couldn't start. But hey,
he also played Damian Downs in there as a two pivot number 9s. The guy that plays for FC Cologne. but he didn't even do anything, right? So
I didn't understand that move, man. I mean, you took a midfielder to put a striker, and I mean, there was no change,
no
right? I
midfield
mean,
to distribute to that striker, right?
exactly. Like I don't know if he was trying to like hold more midfielder players on the back because you have two strikers, but if you're not providing balls to the strikers, then what's Mexico to needs to? Or what will Mexico? What will make Mexico be afraid
Right.
and hold back, right, and not push the line towards the midfield? I don't know. It's tough for me to say if this is all in Pochettino or if it's a combination of players plus Pochettino just completely. I think he's just in over his head.
He didn't realize this was going to be this situation for him.
Yeah,
It's going to be easy, but
yeah.
it's not.
Yes, I think it's either whoever did the job of selling the position to Mauricio Pochettino did an outstanding task, right? This person can sell anything to anyone, or Pochettino didn't sit down and did his homework to realize that, hey, this is not going to be as easy as I thought it's going to be, right?
Or the money's good.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best paid coach in this side of the planet, right? I think he's the top coach in terms of salary compared to like Brazil.
Well, maybe with Carlo Ancelotti now it might change, but we'll see.
It's a lot of dough, man.
Yeah, but no, let's talk about Mexico now, the winners and deserved winners of this match. Vascoaguirre stuck with a 4-3-3. The changes we saw really were the left back and right back. Gallardo coming back in after serving a suspension. Jorge Sanchez coming back in for Julian Araujo, who was unfortunate for him and Mateo Chavez not to start, right? After playing very well. But I think I'll let you go off here on Mexico right now, given your positives. But I think for me, who stood out for... It's kind of getting repetitive at this point, but the back two, Johan Vázquez and Montes played very well. I don't think they were really challenged much, but when they were on counterattacks, they were able to win the ball back with relative ease. And Gilberto Mora, man, I thought he was going to score a goal, bro. Like in his first final, he was not afraid to shoot, not afraid to take on the USMNT.
That guy's good.
Yeah, what a performance from the 16-year-old.
That guy is good, man. Listen, I think let's focus on the areas, right? Defensively speaking, I agree with you, with the exception of the USMNT goal. I mean, Chris Richards header was pretty much he impacted the ball, he hit the ball between Cesar Montes and Johan Vázquez. So it's one of those things where like we've been praising Mexico throughout this Gold Cup and some other friendlies, saying like, hey, they have improved on set pieces, both defensively and when attacking, right? I think this was a big mistake from both of them. But to your previous point was, I think this time around, they didn't fall apart. They say, hey, yeah, we made a mistake. Let's move on. And that's what they did, which is great. It goes to show that this Mexican team is starting to have some resilience towards adversity, which is great. I think that's the only the only small issue that I saw tonight between the two center backs. Overall, throughout the entire match, I saw Johan Vázquez understanding the strategy and joining the attack when he could. Like he led a couple of balls, a couple of transitions, crossing that midfield. And Cesar Montes was pretty solid, with the exception of a couple of runs against Aguiman, that yellow card that he received. A little too, I mean, he needed to foul him, but I think it was a little too, he came in too strong on that tackle.
Too reckless.
Yeah, because it could have been a red card if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, I think that could have been a red card. Like if it was a different referee or someone that is a little more strict, I think that could have been a red card. So it's a little, just reckless on him. As far as Gallardo, I think we expected Gallardo to come back. Mateo Chavez has been doing a great job. He definitely deserves a shot to compete for the starting position, but I just think El Vasco is gonna stick with Jesús Gallardo no matter what, unless he's injured or he significantly drops in performance. I don't think we're gonna see anyone playing ahead of Gallardo. And Jorge Sanchez, I was surprised because Julian Araujo was not even in the bench. I mean, he got sidelined. He went. They put him up in the box at the stadium. He wasn't even benched, and I'm just surprised. I mean, he had two pretty decent games, both on the quarterfinals and the semifinals. So I don't understand. Maybe El Vascoaguirre trust Jorge Sanchez more. I think Julian Araujo did a good job, and he deserved the starting position here. The midfield, what can I say, man? Marcel Ruiz and Gilberto Mora have been the best players of this Gold Cup for Mexico. Gilberto Mora definitely made a case for himself to continue being a starting 11 player for Mexico, and I'm glad that El Vascoaguirre took a shot and took a chance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If the PPG fam remembers, we had a video discussing this kind of stuff about Vascoaguirre, where he likes to put youngsters on the squad. Marcel Ruiz and Gilberto Mora are two great examples. And just like you said, I mean, Gilberto Mora looked as if he's been playing for years now, man. Extremely confident, knows how to take over the space. He can definitely dribble. He can go on the offensive. He can support defensively. He opens up spaces. He reads the game. I mean, he is on a different level at 16 years of age. I really hope that he continues with this trend. I think there's nothing but upward for him. Definitely the Mexican player with the highest ceiling as of today. Will that change? We don't know. But as of today, man, I think Gilberto Mora is definitely the most exciting talent of Mexico. And then up front, another solid performance for Alexis Vega, Raúl Jiménez, and Roberto Alvarado. Raúl Jiménez showing up when the challenge is it's hot.
Yeah,
right.
Lobo again.
Making himself notice. Alexis Vega and Roberto Alvarado, I think they were great support cast for El Lobo and the rest of the team. I mean, they were both supporting defensively and offensively. I think overall, a very decent Gold Cup for Mexico, all things considered, right? Because, I mean, again, CONCACAF opposition tends to vary depending on the mood of the teams, right? And how Mexico decides to play. If the USMNT is bringing their A team, if Canada is, also bringing their A team or whatnot. But all things considered, understanding the rival and the situation, I think this is the most solid display of Mexico that we've seen, consecutively speaking, over the last 3 years or 4 years, man.
Yep. And to go back to your point of Gilberto Mora, and who was the guy that gave Gilberto Mora his first chance?
Mi gallo de oro. Juan Carlos Osorio.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
But that reminds me of that video you mentioned that we made about vascoaguirre, where we titled it "Vasco Likes Him Young," talking specifically about the young players that he likes to give a chance to. But no, that's true. El Lobo dedicating his goal to Diogo Jota, who we know about, passed away a couple days ago. And that was a nice gesture by him. But ultimately, 2-1 win. And what's next for these two teams, Adrian? Mexico is going strong into the World Cup, still a year away, but going to be going to the World Cup as the reigning back-to-back champs, current champs of Nations League and of Copa Oro. And the biggest and best team of CONCACAF title currently going to the Gold Cup or the World Cup. That's it for official matches, right? So now nothing but friendlies from here to the Gold Cup or the World Cup.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's going to give Vasco a chance, knowing that he's got a really solid cemented starting 11, at least based off of this, that he could make all these tweaks and take chances on these friendlies leading up to the World Cup. So I think that puts him in a really good position. On the other side of that coin, USMNT, is Pochettino going to stay? Is he going to stay, be the man for the job? I'm guessing he will be. This is a process. They've mentioned it leading up to the World Cup. But I think the one positive the USMNT has heading out of this Gold Cup, heading into the World Cup, is knowing that this isn't their starting 11, right? When their starting 11 is playing and healthy and, all available, I think it's a substantially stronger team than this USMNT squad. Knowing that the positive of having, Pulisic, Weah, McKinney, Dest, Jedi, all those guys come back will only lift this team up. The 1 and 2 questions that I think they have answering themselves, before the World Cup, heading into the World Cup, that they're going to have to address in these friendlies: goalkeeper situation and who's going to be the back two. Tim Ream was exposed today. He's finally looking slow, 40 years old, looking his age, right? Who's going to be given a chance back there? We always talk about McKenzie giving a chance, but he's, for some reason, under Triple G and under Pochettino, hasn't been given a chance. So will that change moving forward? We'll see. But I think exciting time for Mexico and questionable time for the USMNT heading into the World Cup.
No, I mean, listen, I couldn't agree more with you. I believe that finally the Mexican fans are going into a World Cup feeling slightly better than the last two, right? They've been chaotic for Mexico. 2022 was. The one before that one wasn't necessarily great in any way. And the one before that, 2014, wasn't also not necessarily super great for Mexico. But I think El Vascoaguirre definitely is doing what he's supposed to be doing, which was putting out the fires, calming down, steadying the ship, and building the basis for not only this next World Cup but the next one. I think, as we mentioned, for both national teams, right, this Gold Cup was going to be the last time they could either find maybe a surplus of players that they can count on to supplement or complement, right, the 20 something players that they already have in mind that will be part of the World Cup squad. I think Mexico, beyond the responsibility of winning this Gold Cup, the mission was, can Marcel Ruiz, can Gilberto Mora, and a few others, Mateo Chavez, Julian Araujo, and a few others here and there, are the missing pieces to Cesar Montes, Johan Vázquez, Edson Álvarez, Luis Ángel Malagón, Raúl Jiménez, Alexis Vega, so on and so forth, right? And I think they used this for that purpose. I hope Mauricio Pochettino used this Gold Cup to find those missing pieces as well. I don't think he's going to keep on calling any of these players that he used for the Gold Cup, maybe like 2 or 3, and those are very punctual, like Diego Luna. And let me think of other one, maybe Berhalter. I think Berhalter maybe kind of sort of proved himself with Pochettino, for the lack of another word.
And maybe Freeze.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope that was the whole purpose of Mauricio Pochettino. Him understanding that he doesn't have any more time, that he needs to prove a little more, another layer of players, and then saying, okay, what I came here, I saw, I didn't conquer, but at least I found a few, maybe Malik Tillman as well, a few players that I can plug in the event that the A player, right, name it Gio Reyna, name it Christian Pulisic, etc., are not 100% ready, right? I think Diego Luna can be a good backup for Pulisic or one of the wingers. Tillman definitely a step up over Giovanni Reina, given that Giovanni Reina doesn't play.
Yeah.
And Matt Freese could be a good third string keeper. I don't think Matt Freese is the solution for the goalkeeping situation, but you tell me, man.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he is either. He's a Band-Aid right over a cut. Really, not really the stitches that the USMNT needs right now. But I think I believe I was reading Matt Turner's going to France. No, he's going to Lyon or one of those teams.
I hope so.
So if that happens, we'll see if that improves him heading into the. First of all, if he plays, and if that improves him heading into the World Cup, because USMNT fans have been spoiled in the last 20, 30 years, having back-to-back pretty good keepers, really, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And now suffering that's not the case. But I agree with you. I think it was a showcase of depth analysis for both coaches here, for Vasco, knowing who he can grow into, count on for the World Cup, assuming if we see one of his key players go down, and for Pochettino seeing, okay, well, who can I not count on, and who maybe showed me enough signs of life this tournament that I maybe try to wriggle them into the A-B team and give them another opportunity going forward, heading into that home World Cup. But as of now, if we just consider these teams in this game, Mexico reigns supreme with CONCACAF and their 10th title after beating their arch rival 2-1.
It's been so long, dude. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been like a 6-year swing, but like we say with these teams in this channel, that it's always a pendulum. So right now, it comes and goes, and right now Mexico is on top. Adrian, man, as we wrap up this episode, where can listeners find us, dude?
Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications here on YouTube. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes.
Yeah, so be sure to follow us on your preferred social media platform of choice and let us know in the comments below what were your thoughts on this match, what were your thoughts on Mexico's performance, very mature professional performance leading to that 2-1 win, dominant performance, what were your thoughts on Pochettino's first ever final for the USMNT, and what were your thoughts on USMNT's players? Definitely more downs and more questions than ups for USMNT, and more applauding and appreciation posts for Mexico's squad, knowing that they're heading in the right direction, heading to the World Cup. So let us know in the comments below. I like interacting with you guys there. Adrian, sleep tight, buddy.
I will.
You're sleeping comfortable today. Yeah. See you, man.
Deuces.